Nikolai, son, can you hear me? An old lady was looking in bewilderment at the screen of her brand new smartphone given by her husband. She never liked those newfangled technologies, but her husband always tried to fill their house with high-quality modern devices. The woman resisted until recently. The argument that she could see her son, even on the other side of the country, eventually convinced her. Her beloved Nikolai smiled at her from the screen and happily waved his hand, but she was still frowning. Yes, Mom, I hear and see you. I miss you and Dad. How are you? Aren't you going on vacation? Or should I come and visit you? Maybe help with something? The guy answered cheerfully. Although his parents were wealthy and rarely asked for help, he was ready to come to them at all times of the day. Oh, there is nothing to worry about. Everything is fine with us, dear. We live from day to day. Your father hardly appears at home, and you're all grown up. My hard workers. The woman half praised, half reproached her men. Yes, I'm sorry. I haven't been in for quite a long time. I have been super busy. I'll come by one of these days. But don't cook anything, please. Like you did the last time. I won't be long. Nikolai smiled, remembering his mother's tables, bursting with goodies with or without reason. After all, she could always use food delivery, but preferred to slave over a hot stove. Oh, come today. Why put it off again? I've been waiting for your sister for a month, and she keeps feeding me promises. You two should get together and come for at least a few days for old times' sake, huh? Are you in town or traveling on business trips? The woman perked up, already preparing to meet her beloved son. I'm in town, yes. I haven't seen Lena for a long time. She seems to be hanging out with friends. I'll try to come in the evening if I can find an hour or two. He politely accepted the invitation and hung up the phone after a short conversation. After graduating from university, meetings with parents ceased to be as long-awaited and enjoyable as before. Nikolai visited his mother more out of politeness and respect rather than out of great melancholy. The work took a lot of energy, and he preferred to spend his free time on rare meetings with friends and the girl he loved. He met Larisa 3 years ago while studying at the university. The girl was like a breath of fresh air for him. She seemed like a crazy laugher, a party queen, ready to have fun all night. However, her behavior was not vulgar or intrusive. She did not flirt with other guys, did not make scandals, did not get dizzy, and did not even wear revealing outfits as other party girls did. That was why Larisa attracted the guy's attention. She seemed to be living her life as if it were her last day, but without going beyond the bounds of decency. And she didn't need alcohol to have fun. The girl felt equally comfortable and cheeky at parties and at the university. On the contrary, Lara hoped to find a calm, well-mannered, and intelligent guy, alien to noisy parties. She had seen enough boys like herself throughout her life and felt more of a friendly attraction to them, sometimes some disgust, rather than romantic feelings. On the first evening, Nikolai showed himself to be perfect, a well-educated and well-read guy with round glasses, reserved in his judgments and generous with compliments. He was probably the dream of every girl she knew. Nikolai didn't stay up late at a party, never broke his promises, and didn't say too much in public. From the first day they met, the guy didn't hide he fell in love with Larisa. Her parents liked him for his kindness, openness, and serious attitude to life. Oh, Nikolai, you were sent to us from heaven. Finally, our Lara will calm down at least a little. Since school, she's only been thinking about parties and get-togethers, and we've hardly seen her at home. And when she met you, she changed so much, the girl's mother said, tightly squeezing the boy's palm. Exactly, Nikolai. You have a good influence on her. We spoiled her. She was daft. And now she has come to her senses. She started studying better, planning work, and even thinking about marriage and children. I was sure she was hopeless, and I would die without seeing her happy. Larisa's father agreed. Nikolai's mother also liked to discuss the future of this couple. She saw Lara as a spontaneous, good-natured, and never despondent girl who could become her daughter-in-law soon. That was another reason Nikolai visited her less often. His mother always talked about marriage, and that evening was no exception. Oh, Nikolai, you've changed so much. You look so mature, and I remember you so little when you were still hiding from your dad under the table. And now you're a strapping fellow with broad shoulders and a well-developed chest. His mother was happy to see her son. Don't exaggerate like that, Mom. I've recently visited you. I couldn't change during this time. I called you in the morning. You've seen me on the video call. The boy smiled. I don't understand anything about these video calls. Let me see you live. Are you eating well? Do you feed your Lara? Your girlfriend is too skinny. I'm afraid the wind can blow her away. The woman immediately brought that up. Lara feeds me well, Mom. She is fine. And so am I. The guy tried to end the conversation. Why did you come without her, huh? Are you hiding something? Isn't she pregnant? So don't be shy. It's high time for you both to have kids. Please don't put it off. His mom kept insisting. Come on, Mom. She is not pregnant. Please don't, I beg you. We haven't even talked about that yet. And what's the hurry? She's only 22. It's too early to have children. She wants to make a career. She has just recently received a promotion, my good girl. She works from morning to night, barely getting enough sleep, Nikolai boasted. Oh, career. It's all nonsense. I also wanted to be a hard worker. I kept striving somewhere, asserting myself. And what's now? My arms hurt, my legs ache, and I'm not even 50 yet. And that's all from this damned work. There is nothing for girls to do there. There are only problems. Let her sit at home and enjoy her life. That will bring more benefits, the woman said confidently. Well, let her decide for herself. Any option will suit me. If she wants to work, I won't resist. Nikolai tried to justify himself. That's okay. You are both too young. But when are you going to make a wedding? My dear Nikolai, you've been living in rentals for 3 years. Don't you think it's time to start a family? Haven't you had enough fun? How long will she remain unmarried? All her friends probably have husbands, and she's the only one left. That's not right. His mom wouldn't let up. 3 years is not that long. Many people live for 10 years together, or spend their whole life without getting married and feel good. The son answered reluctantly. It was impossible to convince his mother on this issue. It seemed to her that she had ironclad arguments. How can that be? After a year of dating, your father and I got married and are still happy, and even 1 year was a lot. He could have taken me to the registry office earlier, but he wanted to save more money. Do you have enough money? If not, we will arrange everything as you like. Just tell us. Your wedding will be the envy of your neighbors. The woman did not lose hope. We have enough money, Mom. Her son decided not to convince her, but sighed heavily in his heart. Without so much desire to get married, he kept saving a certain amount from each salary. The girl was a true gift. She did not give a single reason for jealousy, invested in their family budget, and did not complain about his frequent absence. But something in his head prevented him from proposing to her as if he knew he would not be happy after that. However, constant pressure from society, and especially from caring parents, did its job, and that conversation put the finishing touches. It was time to get married, and the sooner, the better. The very next day, Nikolai went to a jewelry store, chose a ring, and, without much ceremony, decided to present it that evening. One cannot describe how happy Larissa looked after those cherished words. Will you marry me? I know I've put it off too long. I wanted to save money for our wedding. But you waited patiently and never asked me anything. Thank you, he said in one breath, and felt as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders when he heard a joyful squeal. Yes, of course, yes, I agree. My dear Nikki, I knew that would happen soon. I even discussed it with my friends who were sure you didn't want to get married. I am so happy. Let's tell our parents. Oh, and let's take a photo. I want to tell the whole world about this. Her eyes sparkled with real, undisguised happiness. Uh-huh, the guy answered hesitantly, trying to look just as pleased. Parents on both sides were also overjoyed. Larissa's mother cried a little, and Nikolai's mom burst into tears, shamelessly falling from her cheeks throughout the conversation. Oh, I am so happy. Nikolai, when will you get married? Let's choose a date. The best time to get outside is in the summer, or at least fall. Nature is so beautiful during this time. Oh, my son is finally getting married. I don't believe it. You're such a sneaky boy. You didn't say a word when we met the other day. A real partisan. The woman admired, eager to discuss all the wedding details. As a result, the couple decided their wedding would be as big as they could afford. As befits a young girl, Larissa dreamed of a professional photo shoot and video filming during the celebration. Her mother insisted that there be live music, so they invited a local instrumental group. Nikolai's mother said she knew the best singing toastmaster in town. Although he cost a lot, they were ready to pay a tidy sum for the wedding, so there was no need to worry about money. "Mom, I told you I was saving money. We have enough for everything. A wedding happens once in a lifetime, and I want to remember it forever," Nikolai said responsibly. "That's my boy. You're just like your father." The woman was happy for the future family. Nikolai insisted on taking his wife on an unforgettable honeymoon after the wedding ceremony. He knew how nervous and troublesome it was to organize a celebration and hoped to rest afterward. Everyone agreed it was necessary to invite more friends and relatives. They didn't want to offend anyone, and were going to celebrate their marriage in style, as the tradition implies. "And don't forget to invite Aunt Catherine from Tambov. She gives good gifts," his mom said at the end of the conversation. Their wedding promised to be one of the most magnificent among all their friends. Larissa and Nikolai's mother spent several months to ensure it would be perfect. They selected flowers, found the most beautiful dress for the bride, even picked out outfits for the bridesmaids, and chose the color scheme for the men's suits. "Oh, Lara, you have such good taste. Don't you want to work as a designer instead of a middle manager? Or maybe it's better to be a housewife. You finally decided. Aren't you pregnant?" the woman kept asking her. "Thank you for the compliment, but for now, all my thoughts are only about the wedding. We still have so much to decide. Does Nikolai want a bachelor party? I hardly see him lately. He only comes home to sleep." Indeed, he rarely appeared in their rented apartment. One might even say he has lost interest in his future wife. She had never been a wildcat, but she knew Nikolai needed more intimacy than she did. He always came up with some experiments, bought toys, and almost every day persuaded her to make love. However, Larissa had some sexual blocks. She did not understand the general admiration for sex and often experienced unpleasant sensations in bed, which could not but upset her future husband. But in recent months, the man seemed to accept her peculiarity and stopped demanding intimacy. And then, the girl got worried. "Oh, Lara, I didn't expect to hear that from you. Are you worried and aroused at the same time? I have no time for that now. You know it. It's a complete mess at work. I'll be spending the night there soon. I'm sorry, but another time." That was all his excuses. Larissa did not attach much importance to that until the very day of their wedding. She realized what was going on only when standing near the registry office, waiting for her turn. She wouldn't have understood anything, but her good friend told her everything. When all the guests had already gathered near the building, and there were 20 minutes left until the X moment, Nikolai's phone suddenly rang. "Damn it, I'll leave, okay? That's from work. I need to answer urgently. If it's our turn, call me, and I'll have a smoke. I have never been so nervous." He threw to his wife with a light kiss and retreated to a secluded place. More precisely, he thought no one was around and did not notice Larissa's friend hiding behind a lilac bush. The girl was correcting her makeup, spoiled by joyful tears, and did not intend to eavesdrop on anything personal. However, the words said by the groom scared her to the bone. "Lara, Larissa, come with me. You need to hear that. Don't ask or say anything. Be as quiet as a mouse, or you will scare him," her friend whispered loudly in her ear. "What? What is it? What's the emergency? Where are you dragging me to?" The girl answered her in the same tone. Fortunately, both remained unnoticed, and, holding their breath, listened to the mysterious telephone conversation. "Julia? Julia, why are you behaving like a little girl? I've explained everything to you a million times. Oh, what should I do with you? Well, of course I love you. How could it be otherwise? So what if I get married? You knew that, and helped me decorate the hall. You're saying some nonsense, ugh!" the groom complained. Of course, the girls did not hear the answer. They only realized there was a familiar female voice at the other end of the line. Larissa got cold from her toes to the ends of her hair. She turned pale, which was seen even through a thick layer of her wedding makeup. Was that what she was thinking about? Meanwhile, Nikolai continued. "Why are you shouting into the phone?" "Julia, damn it, it's not the best time. You know perfectly well where I am and who I am with. They can hear us." The guy turned to the registry office. Without noticing anything suspicious, he calmed down. There were so many couples and guests around that his bride could easily get lost among other people. She was probably taking photos. You know well that I love you. Oh no, Larissa. Larissa is something different. I think I never loved her. Why am I marrying her? Well, Julia, how do you imagine it? You and I will reveal everything and be happy for the rest of our lives. My mom will never accept us. She's a little older than you. My father will get furious. But you know he is suffering from high blood pressure. A long female monologue followed from the phone. Nikolai listened patiently, without interrupting, and then suddenly suggested, Okay, I understand what you want. Let's meet today. No, dummy. At night. We'll see each other during the day. Where are you? Why aren't you at the registry office? You love being late. Hurry up, or it will look suspicious. Yes, I'll come to you at night. I'll find out what to say to Lara. Maybe I won't need to make up a story. See you. Yes, and I love you. Larissa and her friend decided not to wait for the groom to start looking for them, and quickly stepped aside. They didn't want to arouse suspicion. At first, the girl wanted to scratch out the guy's eyes or do something worse. Then she went limp and started swallowing tears mixed with snot. Lara, listen. Breathe like this. Inhale. Exhale. Tears won't help us now. Let's think about it. Her friend tried to calm her down. Shall we think about it? Is there something to think about? I will hit his face so hard, and that's it, so that he won't do it again. Scoundrel of the first water, right at the wedding, right in front of his bride. Does he even hear what he says? How can such words even come out of your mouth in front of the registry office? The bride's face turned red while her friend tried to correct her makeup. Larissa quickly got the whole picture together. She understood why Nikolai was rarely at home and refused intimacy with her. It was all so banal. He didn't care about her. What she had found out stunned the girl and made her more determined. It's all clear. Nikolai is an asshole. No doubt about it. But what should we do? The guests have gathered, the restaurant is ready, and registration is in about 15 minutes. We need to teach him a lesson. Or you won't make a scene in front of everyone? Lara's friend asked uncertainly. I know what to do. Go to our receptionist and talk to her. And they implemented their plan. Larissa's friend quickly got the receptionist, explained the situation, and almost begged her for a favor. The woman refused and said, That is prohibited by regulations. We're not supposed to. Have it out at home. But in the end, she agreed to change part of the solemn speech. When it was their turn, those words echoed throughout the hall. Is your desire to get married voluntary, mutual, and sincere? Groom, please answer, the receptionist said in a solemn voice. Yes, Nikolai answered immediately. Is there at least one person in the room against this union? Speak now, or remain silent forever. That was the remark the bride's friend asked for. Yes, I have objections, the bride said in a thin voice, and everyone gasped in unison. What was she doing? The parents seemed to be in absolute shock. But Lara boldly stepped forward. With every word, her voice gained more and more confidence. She explained that she selflessly loved her future husband and would gladly exchange rings with him. And then she said what she found out a few minutes ago. He had been deceiving her all these years. I have a more worthy candidate for the role of the bride. Say hello to her. With these words, the girl quickly found Julia in the crowd, led the girl to the altar amid cries of protest, and left through complete chaos. She heard Nikolai shouting, the crowd was going insane, and the relatives were crying. But she was ready to laugh with happiness. Who would have thought? She almost married that man. She almost made the biggest mistake in her life. Later, in a calmer atmosphere, she explained to her relatives what happened. Nikolai had been in love with his mother's married friend almost since childhood, although they started dating only a year ago. Due to her age and marital status, the groom's family would not accept her, and society wouldn't understand that. Therefore, Nikolai decided that hiding behind marriage to Larissa was a brilliant plan. Of course, the newly minted couple was not married on the same day. Later, Larissa heard Julia divorced her hated husband. She and Nikolai married, and the parents had to accept their son's choice. He even tried to contact his ex-bride, sent flowers, thanked her for her honesty, and apologized several times. But she no longer wanted to listen to him. Why? What would it change? She didn't want to grieve. She was glad she knew the truth before she said yes at the registry office. She didn't care about the money spent. She wanted to start a new life where there would be no place for deception, omissions, and men like Nikolai.